All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Sunday night. The number one show for the fans by the fans, the number one Knicks podcast for the fans is back with our first episode of Knicks Weekly of the 2023-2024 season, man. On this episode, the Knicks go 1-2 to kick off the opening week of the campaign. We're going to recap, break down the good, the bad, the ugly, plus take a look at the week ahead. And in between, is there a new RJ Barrett, ladies and gentlemen? RJ Barrett has certainly been one of the few bright spots at this early start to the season. We're going to talk about that. Plus, Scott Perry sounds off, man. In a rare interview, Scott Perry dishes on some key Knick tidbits. We're going to listen to it and react. Plus, Jalen Duran, man, going on a tear. Did the Knicks drop the ball in the draft just a couple of days ago, man, years ago? We're going to talk about it. Hit that like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. CP the Franchise, Alex Rataros on the other side, KnicksFanTV. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to our loyal franchise channel members. All right, Al, get to it. Get to it, bro.
Hey, man. I'm just happy that the Jets won today. It was an ugly game, but I'm happy the Jets won. Our playoffs hopes are alive. You know, we have Aaron Rodgers talk about coming back somewhere between week 12, week 15, 4-3. It was a disgusting game. Don't get me wrong, but I had to listen to you guys talk on that Hawks post game, talk about how you guys are going to win. I have JD over here saying, "Oh, Giants get the better defense than the Jets." Give me a break, man. We had to talk about it last night too, after the Pelicans defeated the Knicks. But
listen,
I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
Listen, man. You guys got away with a win. It was a defensive battle, as we thought. It was going to be a field position game, as we thought. A battle of two bum teams. And it took you guys to beat our practice squad QB, our kicker with no leg, and a defense that couldn't get out of its own way to get a W. If you're happy about that, I'm throwing it in the garbage. I'm done. It's finished. Giants season's over. It's been over. But if that's what you want, go ahead, bro.
Jets are 4-3, man. That's all that matters. We got a winning record right now. Yeah. If you told me the Jets were going to be 4-3 with Zach Wilson at the helm after Aaron Rodgers plays 4 snaps, okay? Yes, I'm happy. Yes, I'm excited about that, okay? Because, like I said, playoff hopes are alive. Is this a championship-winning team? No, but this team's been in a drought since 2010, CP. 2010. 2010, the Jets have not made the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been a while.
They're the longest. It's the long out of all sports. They are now the franchise that has been out of the playoffs for the longest period of time. I would like to see it happen. I would like to see this team make the playoffs. Yeah. So the fact that they beat the Giants, a little friendly trash talking, okay? You guys are Giants fans. I'm the only Jet. For a while, it's just me as the only Jets fan on this panel. Now we got Jake Asman on the part of the crew, so thank God for that.
Game was a disgrace. Game was a disgrace. And shout out to our guy Jake Asman. I'm on his YouTube channel, and his video is the Jets stunned the Giants in overtime. Stunned. They were the favorites in the game.
Let me tell you something, man.
Jets fans, man.
This had Jets collapse all over it. Jets favorite to win. That's like, go against the grain. You choose the Giants to win, all right? And they were going that way. It was which team was going to give it to the other team at this point. But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
As a guy who knows Giants fans who like to pick on the Jets, be like, I'm not looking at this like as a big rivalry, but every time it's like Yankees and Mets fandom, right? I'm a Yankees fan, but I know Yankees fans that attack Mets fans. Be like, oh, you guys stink, da-da-da. I know Giants fans that do the same thing to the Jets. And so I had to grow up with that. And so for those guys out there who had to be like, oh, well, we just you beat a bad team. Oh, you're just upset. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, the shoe was on the other foot where the Giants defeated the Jets, it's like, Jets sucked. How do you lose to this team? We're better than you guys. You're still a little brother. Buy this, buy that. Give me a break.
This is typical Met fan behavior. This is straight out of the Evan Roberts playbook. He would love this. He would love this conversation. He would love your spin on this whole game. because this is what you guys do. You guys grasp at straws for little victories. Well, good luck. Good luck. You guys got the game. Did what you had to do. Giants are horrendous. And that's just what it is. Congratulations, man.
This is the Giants spin. It's like, whatever. It's okay.
Look, I'm at the point where the more losses, the better for me. I got my fatigues. I've had my fatigues on with the Giants since 40-0 against Dallas when I already knew this team was going to be hot garbage. I got my camos on. I'm ready to go. So that's what I wanted to see today. I want to see Kayvon Thibodeau dominate, see some good things, and then let it all hang out and lose. Because I'm not here for 8-9 season. I'm not here for 7-10. Tank this thing up and go get some more talent in the draft. But anyway, man, let's get to the Knicks. 1-2 in the campaign so far, man. You had a tough loss opening night against the Boston Celtics. KP going crazy against his former team. They're able to bounce back against the Hawks with stellar performance from RJ. You had stellar performance from Jalen Brunson. And supporting cast, DiVincenzo 15 off the bench. And then you have in the third game on the second night of a back-to-back, an absolute drubbing in the Bayou, man, with Zion dominating, making Julius look real soft out there, and Brandon Ingram going off, man. So 1-2 in the campaign. What's your overall reactions to opening week?
This team is still trying to get their footing underneath them. Everyone looks out of sorts. Outside of the Atlanta Hawks game where, Brunson was doing Brunson things. IQ, even though he didn't have necessarily the greatest scoring, he was doing everything else well that you wanted to see. RJ's been stellar just to start off the season, which has been, unprecedented because he usually has a slow start. This team is looking for their rhythm, man. And I think it's, it could be a multitude of things. It could be Brunson, not getting a lot of run during preseason because he was playing in the FIBA World Cup. And now you're readjusting to playing with your team outside of playing with all the other talent on Team USA. You got Randall, who's coming back from an injury. I don't know how much that's affecting him and how much time he had laying off from actually, hooping and getting into rhythm. So those being your two top guns, the fact that they're struggling, I guess it's got to be those things, but honestly, it's a little disappointing considering that the whole talk this offseason was consistency. And if we're talking about consistency at such a level, I'm expecting this team to come prepared and ready to execute day one, and we didn't really get that. On the flip side, the good thing out of all of this, right, is that even in both of the losses where the Knicks shot poorly, they were still in these games. So to me, that says quite a bit where you have a talented Celtics team, a talented Pelicans team. The fact that the Knicks were not shooting well, I'm not throwing in, it's not the panic button for me, but I'm confident that this group of guys can figure it out and get back in rhythm. And the fact that these games were so close tells me that we got a good squad for as shooting as poorly as they did. We can still keep up with some of these teams. I want to see this team in full throttle because once they're rolling on all cylinders, then this team should be good and competing with just about anybody in the league. What are your thoughts about it, though?
Yeah, I agree. Look, it's a shaky start. Clearly, they're not in rhythm. You just started the season. It's not going to come together that fast. I didn't expect it to come together offensively this early, and so I'm not really surprised. But it starts with the head of the snake. Your top two guys have to deliver on a night in, night out basis to give this team to make them be who they are. Right? It's not to say that they can't win, because some nights, maybe they don't have it, and maybe it's RJ, it's quick, and you get some stellar defense out there to steal a couple games. But on most nights, both Brunson and Julius need to play at a high level and need to be great for the Knicks to get a dub. So it just seemed like, especially in the Celtics game, they didn't have it, and then also in the Pelicans game, It didn't really seem like they had it there. So again, what to put it on? Is it the injury? Is it for Randall? Is it the FIBA play for Brunson? Who knows? It's just time will tell. It's just very early right now. So once those guys get back on the mark, I think this team should be all right. You still had a chance to win, especially against the Celtics. They came out, they watched the Hawks, even though their defense wasn't all that good, and they almost gave that game away. So that was pretty tough. And then the Pelicans, I mean, they weren't even there. So, it was pretty disappointing to see Zion just bullying Julius all over the place last night. But, it just is what it is. Hopefully they get revenge when the Pelicans come to the Garden. But bright spot, they did shoot the three ball well the first two games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, against the Pelicans, they went ice cold. It is what it is. You're not always going to be on top of that. So who they are as a three-point shooting team will be something to look at over the course of a season, the entire 82 games, not just this week or next week or the week after that, but remembering that Thibodeau's goal is to get this team in the top 10 in three-point accuracy. Let's see how they fare. And then I think, additionally, the second bright spot is RJ. RJ's play, 24 against the Celtics, 26 against the Hawks, and he also had a good performance against the Pelicans, a team high 18 points for RJ, man. So I think those are some of the bright spots. What did you point to as some of the bright spots in this 3-game stretch?
I think it's number one RJ, man. As we've been talking about, and I saw Nick G 2K1 ask me, RJ's been stellar. Maybe stellar is not the right word, but it's been refreshing, I guess is the right word for this, because like I said, he's typically having a slow start. He typically has a slow start to the season. This year, no, he's actually come out here and has been one of the more consistent offensive guys that we've had. I mean, even last night against the Pelicans, right? We're looking for answers on offense. RJ is able to score almost at will inside the arc. And just for that alone, especially going against a team like the Pelicans, who have a lot of wingspan, they have a lot of height, and for RJ, who's not the most hyper athletic guy on the team, I was impressed that he's been able to play so well. I mean, look, as of right now, within the 33 minutes that he's averaging 22, close to 23 points, his 3 rebounds, over 3 assists. The playmaking is what has been impressive to me, because he's not consistently forcing it at the rim. And for him to do that when we've seen otherwise, right? And he's currently shooting close to 38% from 3 right now, shooting 47% from the field. I like it. Yeah. I like, and I'm a guy who's been critical of RJ, right? I don't want to hear that he's young anymore and he's still got time to learn and stuff. Like, even though that could be true, like year 5 in the NBA, I'm expecting you to be a little bit more consistent, a little bit more well-rounded. And the fact that he's doing that, being more willing to take mid-range jumpers from all over the court, I'm encouraged by what RJ is doing right now. So he's definitely been number one on the bright spot for this team so far.
Yeah, just his drives has just been very impressive. His passing has been a lot better. He's very aggressive in his attacks to the basket and finishing strong, man. Finishing very strong. So I think that's encouraging. Again, 3 games, nothing to go too crazy about, but it's just to say that, like, wow, if he can really pull this thing together, he's looking real strong out there. He's looking real strong out there. He's getting to the free throw line, 3 of 4 against the Pelicans last night, 5 of 6 against the Hawks on Friday, and then 6 of 7 against the Celtics. So really in attack mode. His drives have been very impressive. Defensively, he's been good. Opponent shooting 34% against RJ right now. So defensively, he seems to be locked in as well, and that's certainly given this team a boost. So again, my nickname for RJ. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Well, let's see what happens tomorrow.
That's the nickname. Let's see what happens tomorrow.
Let's see what happens tomorrow. That's it.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. One day at a time. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But so far, I'm loving what I'm seeing in terms of his approach, which is definitely refreshing. Definitely refreshing. DiVincenzo had his moments. The Hawks game, he had 15 points against the Hawks. So, a lot of people were ready to trade him after the loss to the Celtics. But the Hawks game, he bounced back with 15 off the bench. I mean, what do you think about the bench overall so far?
It's been okay.
And when I mean the bench, like including DiVincenzo, but like the Hart situation at the 4, like what do you think about that?
It's been okay, man. I mean, it's still early for me to really give an overall evaluation on it. I want to get through like 10 games to really see how this bench goes. 20 will obviously be the great, like quarter of the season will be a great benchmark to see where this team's at, but it's still kind of early. Like I said, I think everyone's just trying to figure it out, and throwing Dante DiVincenzo into the mix. You see that he's trying to do things that he did on Golden State, but this is just not a Golden State team. And we talked about, when the Knicks acquired him this past offseason, like, will he fit what the Knicks do? Because what Golden State does, man, with all that movement, everyone's cutting at different angles. Like, that's not really what the Knicks do, and that's not their bread and butter. So I think he's like, you still see him trying to figure things out, but he had a good game against the Hawks. Against the Pelicans, just a little underwhelming against Boston. I'm not ready to like throw like the towel and be like, this was a terrible signing. I'm not anywhere close to that, but I'm just waiting for him to see like how it all plays out, because we don't truly have a backup 4. Where, as you talked about Josh Hart playing the 4 position, and look, you see it last night when you have wingspan and height, we're overpowered, man, with that second unit. And that's the question moving forward with this team, is that when you have to play teams that have that advantage on you, is Josh Hart enough to help you stop opponents? Or are you going to just run Julius Randle out there for a bulk of the time? Like, the whole point is that you want to give your stars rest, because this is a marathon, not a sprint. And you should be thinking about what's the end goal that we're trying to get here, which is the playoffs and keeping Julius fresh. So I'm not thrilled about it, but it's only 3 games. We played Boston, who's got some height. We played the Pelicans, like I said, height and wingspan. Let's see what the other teams throughout the NBA have, and then we can get more of a gauge of what the second unit. But then you can also talk about quickly too with that bench, right? Because had a stellar game 1 against the Celtics. Solid, well-rounded game, I'll say, with the facilitating the defense against the Hawks. But then against the Pelicans, he was chucking, man. It was like the if you looked at the box score, you're like, scoring wise looked fine, But if you watch the game, you're like over dribbling too much, not really looking for his teammates as much, questionable shot selection, which we've seen in the past. So the bench is just kind of up and down right now. We need more time to see what we got out of it. What are your thoughts?
A lot more time for sure. Definitely agree with you on quickly so far. The bench is just interesting, man. They're just so small. Like, I'm watching Spurs and Clippers right now, and literally on both teams. Now, again, these are their starters, but I'm just talking about, in terms of roster construction, both teams right now on the court, there's nobody shorter than 6'5". You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody shorter than 6'5", and I just look at this bench and I'm just like, man, like, we don't have athleticism. And quickly's great, but we don't have versatility. We don't have size. So I'm just curious to see how it's going to work out.
And when you say athleticism, you mean like we're talking about like Donovan Mitchell athleticism, where you're playing above your height, right? That's what you mean?
Not even that, but like athleticism as like 3-and-D wings. Guys that can guard 3s and 4s, like guys with the wingspan. I mean, quickly has wingspan, but I mean like wings. I mean, I don't know how many times I got to say it. I think the next T-shirt on the merch line has to be, "We need a wing." So that's just it. But again, first week, we will see how it goes. But make no mistake, the player of the week is definitely RJ Broadway Barrett, man. Stellar week so far for our guy Broadway. And let's hope it continues, man. Let's hope it continues. But,
I have a question for you, CP.
Yep.
What have you thought about Mitchell Robinson so far?
Mitch has been good. I mean, look, he had trouble with KP. He has trouble with centers that can, pull you away from the basket. He certainly had trouble there. And then he clamped back down on the Hawks, who he seems to always eat against. And he was very, very pivotal in that Hawks game. 4 steals, 4 blocks, some timely deflections, even breaking up the timing of some of the Hawks' alley-oops. I thought Mitch was stellar in that regard. And then the Pelicans game, he was all right. He was decent. Zion was overpowering everybody. And then you got to deal with Valanciunas. So, so far it's been a mixed bag. I think it's been a mixed bag for Mitch. Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. Hawks, he was just on one. He looked amazing when I rewatched that. And I said last night on the show, I was like, Mitch was productive, and I got pushback on this from JD and from some people in the comment section and the chat, where it's like, Mitch looked great last night. And I'm like, yeah, the rebounds were amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, his game doesn't stand out as much when you have to switch and he has to play consistent safety valve for everybody. Like if he has to cover for Julius, if he has to consistently cover for Brunson, and he's leaving the spot on the court, like protecting the rim. If he's not able to be that true rim protector that we have, then his game doesn't get to shine as much and look as great. Like awesome rebounding. He had 10 offensive rebounds yesterday. Amazing. He had some putbacks, but he couldn't get all the putbacks because they're all just swarming him.
Yeah.
So my whole thought process was, he was fine to good yesterday, like for what he did, but it's not, to me, it doesn't look great, because if he's just thrown out of position, then it's not going to just stand out, and it's not going to be the greatest thing possible, because Mitch's game is still limited. Like he's so versatile on defense, but it's still limited at the same time. Does that make sense? Like, does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
Like, where he's where like he can guard the perimeter, he can guard pick and roll very well, but it's like outside of that, like he's not this. I think if he was like an offensive threat, then we could talk about like, oh, he can really take over a game, right? But because he's so limited on the offensive side, his game won't completely shine in games like against the Pelicans.
So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. This is Knicks Weekly, man. CP the franchise, Alex Rotaros on the other side, recapping the good, the bad, the ugly of the Knicks week. Call us up, man. 657-383-1509 is the number to call. Or you could hit us up on the KnicksFanTV Discord. It was interesting. MSG put up the... whenever the Knicks play the Pelicans, they gotta hype up the RJ Zion matchup, the Duke stuff, the draft stuff, and then I don't know if you saw the graphic where they had like RJ, it was Zion, Ja, RJ, and it was like where they were picked, number of games played, and what was the number of points? I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was a nice way to spin it to make RJ look like the prize of the draft, if you will. So
yes.
I thought that was a good job by MSG, the PR machine at work, as they usually are. Good job by them.
RJ has missed the fewest amount of games.
That's
those
it.
Guys.
The fewest amount of games. The fewest amount of games. And so this brings me to this quote by Scott Perry. That's because one of the things we want to talk about is the Scott Perry interview with our guys at the Hoops Hype. Shout out to Hoop Genius podcast. Shout out to my guy Mo Muncy. Shout out to BJ Armstrong, Hoop Genius podcast. They had Scott Perry on their show, and a couple of sound bites have come out of that. And one in particular was Perry's thoughts on how the Knicks decided to draft RJ Barrett. So let's hear what he had to say, and let's react to it.
One of the big things that we said about RJ Barrett, his circle was so professional, so tight. Mom, dad, he had a business manager, and he was not trying to, and his agent, they kept a very tight circle. He was very focused, a tremendously hard worker, all of the background, and that's a big thing that all teams do, and as you really dig into the background of these young people. And it was consistent from the time he was 12 years old, people that we talked to, just about his approach, his seriousness, I mean, he was a young professional. I'll never forget when the lottery in Chicago that year, we went at the pre-draft camp and we ended up with the third pick. He and his agent showed up at my room the next morning to meet with us at 8:30 in the morning, and RJ was dressed in a suit. And that said a lot to me about who he was and what he won me over at that point. One of the big.
All right, so that was Ninja P talking about RJ Barrett, and I mean, in terms of, he spoke highly about his team and the people supporting RJ, and that's absolutely, that's all facts. So he comes from a great family, comes from a great background, is very tight, very close-knit group. He puts in the work, good work ethic, hard worker, like all those things I've seen, I've heard over the years. So that's definitely a plus for RJ. And look, was that the traits that sets him apart from Zion or Ja Morant? No, like, let's be real. If one of those guys was available at number 3, the Knicks would obviously have picked them. But I think there is something to be said in terms of when you're finding talent and you bring players into your organization that you hope fits and hope that they can help establish a culture. I think you could give RJ credit in that regard because he's a guy that seems to be able to handle playing here and approaches it with the utmost maturity. I like that. You got to like that about him.
Absolutely. And, just listening to Scott Perry and shout out to the Hoop Genius podcast because it was really a great interview with Scott Perry. Those guys did a great job, Mo and BJ. The whole draft process, right? Interviewing players and seeing who fits for your organization. It's not just all talent, as he talks about. It's like the mindset, inner circle, and stuff like that. And it's hard to say, like, how do you weigh that because each player is different, right? So the characteristics that one player has, the talent of another player, like all those things, like it's like truly filling out the attributes for like a 2K game, right? Where it's like, you may have one greater skill set than the other, you may have one greater attribute than the other. And so when you listen to Scott Perry, it's just difficult. You can hear how difficult it is just trying to evaluate anybody. But that's not surprising, man, because when we were out in Vegas, we got to talk to people, right? And I was talking to a scout and he was talking about, something that they're really focusing on is like, who are you with? Who do you hang out with? What is your circle all about? Because they want people who are focused on the game, who are really going to treat this like a job. And look, you're getting guys who are 19 years old coming out of college. They're becoming adults. They're essentially being thrusted to become a full-fledged adult, right? And college, let's just think about college for a second. Like if you go to college, if you, not everyone has the capability of just like not working and doing stuff like that. But if you do have that, if you are like an athlete, right, and where you don't have to necessarily work, you get to play the sport where it is your job, all the benefits that come with it at such a young age, all the fame and everyone's want to talk to you. Like it's a different level once you're starting to make millions of dollars. You're on your own. You're not living at home, and you got to make decisions that are in your best interest, right? And so the people that you have in your inner circle who can help guide you are going to be critical at those times. So the fact that they're looking for people like that who say, hey, this is what it is to be a professional in this league, how you're going to stay consistent, so that way they know that they're investing in you. They want to know that if they draft you, you can have a decent career. You can at least be a role player on that team. So to hear that for RJ, yeah, absolutely. It was great for all those reasons. And another thing that I know the clip doesn't talk about it, but something that they liked about RJ was if they drafted somebody, were the distractions of New York City going to be too great for them, right? Because that's a legit thing.
100%.
Scott Perry says in the interview, like if you go out to a small market team, like you're not having the same lifestyle, the same
unless you're Ja Morant.
Interest out that, yeah.
Unless you're Ja Morant and you're just bringing it to yourself. Yeah, look, and that's the thing, right? Like the two guys that were picked ahead of him, both Zion and Ja, now have big maturity question marks hovering around them, and that could limit their success, their potential because it just brings into question like how hard are you willing to work for it? How hard are you really trying to establish yourself as a true superstar in the league? And a lot of the Zion stuff coming out, not just the durability issues, but the fact that he didn't even take utilizing a nutritionist seriously until just now. And it's like, bro, like what you been doing since AAU, man? Like, you had to know this time was coming. That one really shocked me. And then, the Josh situation shocked me as well. So let's see how they bounce back. But, talent aside, RJ being able to fly under the radar, handle the situation with maturity, continuing to work on his game, and now looking pretty good. Hey, might be too early to truly evaluate what that number 3 pick is looking like. That's all I'm saying. We'll see what happens tomorrow. See what happens tomorrow, man. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Knicks Weekly in the building. CP and Alex on the 1s and 2s. Uh-oh. Wait a second.
Who is it?
Wait 1 second. A super chat has just arrived. We got to break up this segment right now because a super chat has just arrived.
From who?
It's not Friday. It's Sunday.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
It's not Friday. It's Sunday. Do it just to get there. Our good friend Robert Randolph sends us 2 $20 super chats, and here's what he says. He says Quickly's playing too wild. Lots of ill-advised shots. No scoring centers. My sources saying Quickly will be in the trade soon. So in other words, looks like Quickly's going to retire a Knick. There it is. Robert Randolph, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert, for the insight. Always on the beat, man. Who needs woes and shams when you got the double R in the building? The double R.
Good right? God. Quickly's in the trade package.
Yeah, so that means he's a Knick for life. All right.
Yeah, man. He's not getting traded. He's getting the extension. He's going to be re-signed, I should say.
Yeah.
He's going to be re-signed at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Knicks will match any offer. We got it.
There we go.
Thank you, Robert Randolph.
Thank you, double R. Thank you, double R. All right, here was Ninja P, Scott Perry, on the Knicks choosing the fan favorite head coach Tom Thibodeau to be the coach of the New York Knicks. Here's Ninja P. Here we go.
Us, we wanted to be a tougher team. We wanted to be a very good defensive team. We wanted to be a very physical team. That was important to us. And those are Tom Thibodeau's strengths. The young guys we felt needed that a little bit extra accountability, that extra push, but we're ready for it. When you talk about Mitchell and RJ, we had just brought Julius Randle in the year before, who was ready to break out, if you will. So we knew that we were going to get that structure, that organization from Tom Thibodeau.
All right, that was Scott Perry on Tom Thibodeau. Yeah, he's right. That's what they wanted. That's what they got. You got 2 playoff appearances in 3 years. 4 years. 3 years. 4 years. Sorry, 3 years. This is year 4. So you got 2 out of 3. You have a team who has a reputation for being physical over the years that he's been here. You talk to people around the league, players come out with it, say that this is a physical team, especially that COVID shortened year. They were known for that last year as well. Physical team. You look at the young players. Now, whether or not you like their playing time, can't say they don't come out ready. Mitch is looking good. RJ, quick. 6th man of the year candidate. Grimes coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the culture and the foundation that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
He certainly got that. Now, what happens after that, we'll see.
Yeah. Look, as Scott Perry said, it's difficult to find a head coach that fits what you need for that team. And it's when you listen to him, it sounds like the organization had an idea of what this team needed moving forward, what identity they want. And obviously, if they want a defensive identity, if you want to be tough, of all the guys that were there, Tom Thibodeau would get you there. And he's done a good job, man. Like for all the criticism that we have for Tom Thibodeau, whether it's offense, substitution patterns, and so forth, he's done a good job, man. And then it's just continue the evaluation for this year. But I feel like I always wonder, like, it's difficult, right? It's difficult making these coaching decisions. Mm-hmm. So, and we've seen it in the past. I want to know how, like, you recover from that. Like, because GMs don't get many chances, right? It's like you either get one or maybe at most two chances to choose a head coach. Yep. I'd like to know if you mess up on the first one, because he was there for Fizdale, right?
Yeah.
He was there for Fizdale. How do you, like, how are you able to do, what do you learn from that first hire that goes into the next one that you're looking for the next time? That I'd like to know.
Guy is going to hold the players accountable. You know what I mean? They went with the nice guy approach with Fizz, and it sucked. They were disorganized. They were all over the place. There was no structure, and they showed him the door.
Well, you heard about how Moutier was happy with Fizdale. He said, "He's going to get me right."
He did get me right. He did.
He did get me right
For 1 year.
I averaged 25 points 1 month. I was like, you never averaged 25 points any month that you were a Knick. So research came out, it was 18 points.
Yeah, Moutier had a good stretch.
He had a good stretch of 18 points, man.
Yeah, he did. Moutier definitely had a good run.
Going to get you right.
We're gonna get you right, Moutier kid.
Tank commander.
The absolute tank commander. All right, here was Ninja Pete, again, courtesy of the Hoops Genius Podcast, Mo Moonsey, BJ Armstrong. Here was Scott Perry on Mitchell Robinson, who we just talked about. Here was Ninja Pete.
As an organization, we really put our arms around that kid, and we decided not only were we going to develop a basketball player, our mission was to develop a young person. And he probably is one of them, I shouldn't say probably, he is the player that I may be most proud of in my 23-year career, understanding where he came from. Mitchell wouldn't say two words when we first got it. And when we, now he was hosting, at one point in New York, he was hosting his own little segment on Knicks Live, where you couldn't keep it quiet. And so to see that growth, and he's been the starting center for the last 5 years. So he's become a great story as an organization.
All right. I thought he was about to say KnicksFanTV when he said Knicks Live. I thought he was about to slip. Yeah, I thought he was about to slip. I thought he was about to slip. I have heard through back channels that Ninja P is a KnicksFanTV fan. That's all I've heard. You know what I'm saying? That's all I've heard. What to make out of it, take it for what you will. But I have heard that he does hit that thumbs up button for you boys. That's what I heard. Through back channels.
Makes sense. He's keeping a buck on Mo and BJ's podcast, and look, we keep it a buck over here. So
that's right.
Makes sense. I agree with him though. Yep. Mitch has definitely been, for a guy who didn't go to college to play ball, and then like just through the foul troubles and see how he's really grown to be a pivotal part in this Knicks defense, man.
Yep.
It's truly impressive. Very, very impressive. And that's why I think I don't really subscribe to like Mitch is just like a weak cog or anything like that. It's like the true development of Mitchell Robinson has been so great for this team. And you got to give kudos to Tom Thibodeau for being part of it. Not saying it's all Tibbs. Like we got to give credit to Mitch too, because Mitch is putting in the work, become serious, right? And is taking his game to another level. But he's definitely been one of the brighter spots. So look, he's the longest tenured Knick. He's been here for 6 seasons, man.
The longest tenured Knick.
So, you got to like it, man. I will say, though, after listening to the podcast, it's interesting on the players that Scott talks about, right? Because you could talk about anybody who was like draft process, like quickly could have been impressive. Quentin Grimes could have been impressive. All these other guys. But the two players that Scott focuses on is Mitchell Robinson and RJ Barrett. You know what I mean?
And
I think to me, what I get from it is that you get an idea of which players he was most impactful for in selecting, and that's what I got. Just reading between the lines. That's what I got from this podcast.
Yeah. Those are his two picks. or two of them. You know, those are his two picks. So certainly he's going to talk them up. And then with Mitch, you have a second round pick, sixth pick of the second round, into a second contract with the team, pivotal part, an integral part of the team on both ends of the floor, continuing to develop, coming into camp, he's looking good. And as Perry said, they're looking to develop him as a person as well. And I think that has been a success story for the Knicks, especially where he was drafted as a raw talent. So that was good on them. Definitely a good pick and good insight from Ninja P. Okay, now here was another quote from Ninja P. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP and Alex on the ones and twos. Knicks Weekly, tapping in with the latest and greatest. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Okay. Here is Ninja P on the Donovan Mitchell trade. Let's hear what he had to say. He had some interesting things about. He had some interesting things to say about the trade for Donovan Mitchell that did not go through. Here he is, Scott Perry, courtesy of the Hoop Genius podcast. Mo Moonsey, BJ Armstrong, Scott Perry. Here we go.
Donovan Mitchell, who's an excellent basketball player, multi-year All-Star, tremendous young man, New York kid. But you got to ask yourself, if the other team that you're trading with is wanting to take 2/3, the 3/4 of all of your good young talent and all of your draft capital, is what is left behind going to be good enough for you to win or be better than what you are, if you just hold on to what you have and be a little patient. So that's the thought process in that. And obviously we made a push to trade for him, but it was going to be done within reason. We felt that because he was a good player, but he needed more around him to win. Because if he was that singular force, Utah probably would have been in the conference finals. If he was that singular force. But he wasn't that singular force. Again, and that's not a criticism on him. That's just an evaluation that you must make. And those are the tough evaluations.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I've been saying this on this channel since I started this channel. Can't just put all your chips in the middle for a player that's not going to bring you to the promised land. Has to be within reason. And that was the thing. It was like when that went down, a lot of people came at me and was like, oh, well, you're tight that they didn't trade all these assets, right? Because according to Woj, the offer that the Knicks had on the table was RJ, Obi, Mitch, and 3 unprotected firsts. So it's quite a haul for Donovan Mitchell. And the reason I was upset when it didn't go down was not because we didn't give that up, but the fact that we couldn't make a play that was reasonable to, as Scott Perry said, have enough in the cupboard so that when you do trade for this player, you could still make a push to be a true contender. That was my big issue. It was that we still never had the talent left over like what Cleveland had when they made the trade. They still have Jared Allen, an all-star. They still have Darius Garland, an all-star. They still have Evan Mobley, who may be an all-star, a young rookie talent. Like, they had all of that when they made that trade for Donovan Mitchell. Whether you want to say it's a New York tax or what, the Knicks just didn't have that same luxury. That's where the frustration was. But he's absolutely right. Like, yes, you want that player, but when that player doesn't have leverage and you got to pay the price to get him, it can only come at a certain price to be worth it.
Absolutely, 100%. That's why the day it went down, like, I was okay with the roster that we had, because Donovan Mitchell, for as talented as he is, and we gentlemen swept the Cavs, man. You talk about, you got 3 all-stars on that team, right? Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. Knicks go out there, wipe their clocks, and called it a day. They made light work of that team. So I agree with what Scott Perry's saying because, as you pointed out, like what the Knicks were offering was a lot. But in return, if you look at the Cavaliers' offer, they got an MIP and Lauri Markkanen. I like Agbaji as a good wing for that team, like a good rookie that they got that year. Colin Sexton, I like him as a sixth man. He's an instant bucket. Like you got a legit haul plus draft capital from Cleveland. And what they had left over on paper was a good team. So yeah. But I remember you being tight, CP.
Yeah,
I remember you being frustrated. You were angry that day.
I was tight.
You were
man.
upset. You were pissed.
Yeah.
Don't poo like you weren't up on this show. Be like, oh man.
Yeah, I was tight.
Seems like you're ready to make the deal, man. Seems like you're ready to go above and beyond to go get Donovan Mitchell.
Nope. That wasn't it. That was not it, bro.
I don't know, man.
I was not ready to do the deal.
I don't know.
I was tight because we hear all these rumors, and then we never get the guy. We're never prepared. You know, why couldn't we be Cleveland and have the luxury to do something like that?
I don't know, man. I hear you, but I'm just saying, if I go back, I want to go back to the archive. I'm going to go back to the archives.
Dig it up.
You know, you seem pissed that day where it's like you were ready to do anything to get a start through that door. You were concerned if we face Cleveland that maybe we weren't going to be the team to defeat them. I don't know, man. I don't know. You jumped out the window too late last season. That's all I remember.
Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, man, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP Alex on the ones and twos. Knicks Weekly in the building. Let's go to the phones, man. Hear what the people got to say. 917, what's your name? Where you calling in from?
Yo, it's JJ from Brooklyn.
JJ, what's good? What's good?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Man?
How you feeling?
What's good?
Good.
Chilling. Just happy Jets fan.
Ah, boy,
relieved,
here we go.
Relieved,
well, we're happy for you, man. Let's go.
We go. Yo, but honestly, the Giants, what are you doing not going for that 4th and 1? Why are you playing scared? You get that 4th right there, the game's over. Come on.
He's scared, man. He's scared. It just hasn't been Dable's brightest moment. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Tough game, though, man.
Yeah.
Tough, too. Giants defense is legit, man. That's a really good defense.
Yeah, when they want to make plays,
man.
except for the secondary. Let it slip
Yeah.
away.
Thibodeau dominated my guy Becton today.
He did.
He was all over the place.
He did.
Man. But listen, man, first, as the RJ critic, hater, whatever you want to say, I don't have one bad thing to say about him right now. Not one.
Okay.
Listen, I think his defense has been honestly great. I think his defense has been superb. One thing I really like is I don't see tunnel vision right now. So, hey, it's early, but listen, I can't – if I was to say anything negative, that's being a hater. I'm a critic, not a hater. Honestly, he's playing really, really well. I can't knock him right now. I can't. That would just be foolish. I think he's had some nice mid-range. The mid-range is getting there. He still has his shaky mid-range, a couple of shaky ones from mid-range, but I think his game has been better than solid right now. But listen, that's not why this is so full credit to RJ right now, 100%.
Okay.
This is why I'm calling. Duran.
All right. Well, hold on. I'm gonna put you on hold. I'm gonna put you on hold for that one because we didn't really get to that. So we want to segue into that one. So before we get to that, we're gonna table that. So just hold on 1 second. But I do give JJ credit, man. As the number one RJ Barrett hater, he does present himself to the congregation to testify every now and again. I like that. He holds himself accountable. I like that.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't back away from the smoke. He'll be critical of RJ when he wants to be critical.
Right.
He's like, hey, he's doing this. Even during the playoffs, JJ was an honest man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to JJ from Brooklyn. That shows some great humility there, Alex. Some great humility, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Hit that like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Knicks Weekly presented by Manscaped. Number one men's grooming tool below the waist, fellas. The 5.0 is out now, okay? Go get it, man. The Lawnmower 5.0. This is a game changer. Look at this sleek packaging, with the gold steel, the gold foil and everything, man. The 5.0 dual temperature LED spotlight. If you want to do it in the dark, whatever you're into, no testimonials. Waterproof. Excellent battery life. 60 minutes of runtime. So if you got a lot of work to do, hey, you can get it done without having to charge it. Put it back in the charger. Again, whatever you're into, that's up to you. No testimonials. It's got the travel lock. So you don't have to worry about, if you're on an airplane and you hear something vibrating, you don't have to. It's just the travel lock will take care of that. You know what I mean? The travel lock will take care of all that, man. So you don't have to worry about setting it off at inappropriate times. Lawnmower 5.0, waterproof. Number one men's grooming tool below the waist, fellas. Do not be caught out lacking. There's no excuse. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code KFTV for 20% all plus free shipping. They're always taking care of us, man. They got CPJD, Alex, CK laced up. We're sending Manscaped products all over the place for the team, man. You got the Lawnmower 4.0. You got the Handyman Close Shaver. Great products, man. Great products. Yeah, man.
Fantastic. People were enjoying the ad read yesterday, I should say, CP. I read the Manscaped.
There you go. There you go, man. Shout out to the Manscaped family, always taking care of us, and we definitely appreciate them. Also, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, man, the event of all events is going down on Thursday, November 9th. Jalen Brunson in-person autograph signing at the Dave & Buster's at Palisades Center, West Nyack, New York. Hosted by CP the Franchise. Presented by my guys at Forzano Law Firm. Shout out my guys, Anthony and David at Forzano Law Firm. You got Jalen Brunson coming through. We'll be signing autographs, taking pictures. We got live music, live DJ. Shout out to my guys at Elite Sports Marketing. Go get your tickets. Purchase your tickets at halloffamesignings.com. You got to purchase a ticket to get your autograph. halloffamesignings.com. Jalen Brunson, CP the Franchise. Let's get it going. Thursday, November 9th at 7 p.m. Make sure you don't miss it. Make sure you don't miss that. What else, Al? Did you catch Fury and Ngannou over the weekend?
I did not. Sadly, I did not. But tell me about it, CB. Tell me about it.
Well, I was at a Halloween party last night. That's why I missed the show. I missed work last night. It was the homie's 40th birthday. I had to
you were at a Halloween party?
Yes.
What was your costume?
I did. So me and the missus did War Machine and Captain Marvel. Do your research, comic book heads. Do your research. War Machine and Captain Marvel. Had a great time.
Did you have the helmet? Did you have the helmet?
I had it. I had it all. And we well, here's the thing. We came in third place for best costume. Now, because it was the homie's birthday, obviously the birthday boy had to get first. But my homie Steve-O, he represented. He was Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he had a good Beetlejuice costume. So it was his birthday. And they gave him first, but he deserved it. Second place, I don't know. I don't even know who got second. By that time of the night, I was ready, a couple scotches deep. I was already feeling good, so it really didn't matter. You know what I mean? But War Machine and Captain Marvel. Do your research, people. I thought that was good. I don't really do Halloween like that. You know what I mean? I'm not a big Halloween dresser-upper guy.
That fake muscle you got on that suit?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I'll say. All natural.
Getting the kid's costume out here.
This is a grown ass man costume, man. What do you mean? This is an adult size costume. I was fantastic. But anyway, Triple M says CP used a sick day. I did. I used a sick day. I had to. But War Machine and Captain Marvel, man. So shout out to the Knicks chick. We definitely did the damn thing in there. So anyway, I'm at the party, and I'm watching the Fury and Ngannou fight via alternative sources. We won't put that out there. We're not trying to condone anything.
Okay.
And Francis is holding it down, man. The former UFC heavyweight champion. And he was in there looking crazy. He was ripped. I mean, Francis looked like he was a true heavyweight fighter. And took Fury to the limit.
Let's go.
Yeah, the fight was in Saudi Arabia. Big spectacle and production. These two have been trash talking each other for a number of years now. They finally made it happen. When Francis was with UFC, Dana White was, being political with it. Francis ultimately leaves UFC over more politics and money. And so they made it happen. They should have put the belt on the line. And he should have won the belt last night. That would have... And this is what boxing needs. Because boxing is so trash. Every fight is never worth the hype. They should have made Fury put the belt on the line, give Francis the belt, and then have them running back, maybe in Africa. This fight was in Saudi Arabia. Maybe you do it in Africa. Maybe a trilogy. You do one in Saudi Arabia, you do one somewhere in Africa, and then you do the next one at the O2 Arena or something in the UK. Top Rank should have called me, man. I should have booked this fight. They should have booked this. I got to call my guy Ariel Awani, man. They should have booked the fight. But yeah, I thought it was pretty rigged. And I thought Francis knocked down Fury, won a couple other rounds. I thought he looked good.
Look, man, the last time I watched boxing and actually paid for it, was
easy. We don't condone piracy here. But go ahead.
Okay. I'm just saying, man.
Gotcha.
I paid a pay-per-view to go watch it. Okay,
Gotcha.
I did the legal way. I did it the right way.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha.
I was in law school at the time. I can't be doing that stuff.
Yep.
But anyway, last time was the Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight. That fight was so boring. I was good God, man. I was like, and I like boxing too. I have not watched boxing since. I'm like, there has not been anybody in the ring that can get me back to the television to go watch boxing. It has been that bad.
So last fight I bought, I think it might have been the first Canelo Triple G fight, either one or two, I think.
Okay.
I think that was the last one I bought. They charged me $80 for that. I said, good Lord, that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
that's Chris Rock's line from In Living Color. That's before your time. But yeah, man.
Come on, man. Jim Carrey.
Jeez, man.
Live in Color?
Yeah.
The Wayans? Come on, bro. I've watched that before.
I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
I don't know what you're into, man. I don't know what you're into. But anyway. So back to what JJ was saying, and LD, we see you on the Discord. We're definitely going to get to you as well. So hang tight. So back to what JJ was saying now. Jalen Duran, Al. Let's talk about Jalen Duran. Because this name comes up for a few reasons here. Number one, 2 years ago, before the Knicks got Jalen Brunson, they had the 11th pick in the draft. This is when they were coveting Jaden Ivey. They were trying to trade up for him, or the rumors were they were trying to trade up for Jaden Ivey. They had number 11. They ended up making a series of trades. Don't have to get into the minutia of it, but they ended up making a series of trades in which they ended up going back into the draft, down into the draft, and then taking that pick, which is a 13th pick, plus Kemba Walker's contract, the $9 million left of Kemba's contract, and sending that to Detroit. The Knicks' objective, get the salary cap flexibility to then go out and get Jalen Brunson, give him his money, the most valuable contract in the league right now. And then Detroit, in turn, selected Jalen Duran, the big man from the Memphis Tigers. Now, Jalen Duran right now, 19 years old, is on a tear. He's on an absolute tear.
For sure.
His last 3 games, 23, 15, and 2 blocks, 82% shooting, 14, 17, 2 blocks, 17, 14, and 4 blocks. So Jalen Duran is on an absolute tear right now, which makes some Knicks fans, some skeptics, wonder why the Knicks never kept this pick, taken him, because obviously they see Mitch Robinson, he's limited offensively, he's never going to have this type of game. And Jalen Duran, he's looking 19, bro. He's looking beastly out there.
Are you telling me that you wanted Jalen Duran on this team?
No. This is Mike. I'm the conductor, bro. I'm asking you the questions here, man. Are you telling me that you wanted Jalen Brunson on this team?
I did want Jalen Brunson on this team.
I mean, Jalen. Got him. Jalen Duran.
No, because Jalen Duran, like, the whole trade essentially set up the Knicks to have the cap space to get Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
On top of that, we also got Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah.
And so unless your thought process was that you were not going to keep Mitchell Robinson, then I could have seen that, but at the end of the day, the whole point of those moves was to get Jalen Brunson in-house and to keep some sort of continuity, especially for a guy like Tom Thibodeau who's looking to compete, right? So you're going to tell me now that at the most primo position that Tom Thibodeau looks for the defensive side of the ball, the center position, he's going to take a rookie and wait to develop him. That was never going to happen. So to me, the move for the Knicks to not draft Jalen Duran, instead to create cap space to go get Jalen Brunson, have enough left over to go sign Isaiah Hartenstein, makes sense to me. I'm not too upset with it. Like, you could be good, but to me, like, I'm not upset about it, because unless you're telling me Jalen Duran is going to become like a top 10 guy in the NBA, then I would be upset. Then I'd be like, oh wow, this is like the whole Steph Curry thing all over again. But if you're just telling me he's going to be a solid center, like, to me, the center position is like the running back, man. Like, unless you have some transcendent talent like Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, to me, like, having a solid center, you can go find a lot of centers around the league. And if we've noticed, no one's getting the bag at the center position. They're kind of on the low end of like importance of what you need on a team. It's mostly wings and it's guards. So I'm not upset that the Knicks didn't draft Jalen Duran. He looks good, but to me, I'm like, I'd rather have Jalen Brunson on this team.
Yeah. Couple things. Again, Duran, very, very impressive right now, man. Extremely impressive right now. I first got to see him last year when I went to Summer League, and even at 18, was very impressed with his game. And again, at 19, he's looking pretty crazy out there. Pistons overall look pretty good, man. Cade is stepping his game up. I saw Thompson is showing some things. My guy Alec Burks went off last night against the Chicago Bulls, but that's a whole nother story. And so the Pistons are looking to put it all together. But anyway, the thing about the Duran situation is that, yes, they needed the cap space to go get Brunson. They got Hartenstein, and the Knicks, since Tibbs has been here, they've been on a compete now track, where it's like, if they're gonna go, they're not getting projects. They're not drafting projects. They're drafting players that can play right now. Right? They, like, it's not to say that they're not trying to develop players, but they're not looking for guys with 5-6 year development windows. They need guys that can come in and play right now. And yes, over the course of their careers, they'll get better, but they need to be able to contribute at this moment. And so, based on where the Knicks were, unless they were going to end up trying to get Ivy, unless they were going to get a player like that, they're not going to. They were never going to take a player like a Jalen Duran.
And the whole point of Ivy was that he was supposed to be impactful from day one.
Day one, star potential from day one. That's what you're looking for, especially with Tibbs. So, is it buyer's remorse? Is it opportunity cost? I don't really look at it that way, even though he could turn out to be a good player. I think the point is more so, if you look at the Knicks free agent signings outside of Brunson, outside of Hartenstein, a lot of the guys that they picked up over the last 3 years have been to a couple things. One, yes, fill needs, get vets to fill needs. You want to fill in your salary cap so you're not at the salary cap floor, but also to bring players in on team-friendly deals that you would have ultimately been able to move for that star player should that player come about. But what the Knicks found themselves in is that a lot of the free agent signings didn't have the effect that they wanted it to have. especially Kemba and Fournier, because you're looking at a situation where they signed Kemba to the 2-year deal, and you're saying, okay, well, $9 million isn't that much, but now they got to put an asset on top of it to get that money off the books. Now they're looking at Fournier. Are they keeping him for the major deal? Maybe. Is there a deal out there that they can get him off? Probably not. So, the Fournier thing has kind of been the same thing over the years as well. So I think that's not issue. I don't want to say issue, but I think that's more been the interesting thing about this, is that they haven't been able to move these players. And in the Kemba situation, they had to put that draft pick on there. That turned out to be Jalen Duran. So I think it's more so that than saying, well, they should have drafted this kid. Because right now, you got a star talent in Jalen Brunson who's fitting your needs and also fitting in terms of the goal that you have to compete and ultimately contend.
Yeah. I mean, look, they got Kemba. I forget what Kemba's contract. It was like 6 or either 8 million, something like that.
17, 2 years, 17.
2 years,
so it's
17.
9. It's 9.
Yeah, so 9. So it's 9 million, right? So you need to move that 9 million. And you talk like that's the freeing up the cap space that we talk about. Like the next move they did with the Pistons was the Burks, Noel, and 2 future second-round picks. But they need to move all that money in order to open up space for Jalen Brunson to get his contract. So that's where it's like, unfortunately, and with the Kemba Walker situations, that let's not forget, Tibbs and Kemba had a big falling out, right? Where Tibbs wasn't communicating with Kemba. Kemba was like he started off in the rotation, then was out of the rotation without really that much notice, was back into the rotation because everyone got COVID. And then, after a few good games, he was back out of the rotation again. And so that relationship was severed. You had to move him because you can't just keep him on the Knicks. Unlike Fournier at the time, he was still playing even until the end of the season. So, and his contract was greater. So there might have been a little bit more challenge where Detroit was like, look, we won't take Fournier. We can at least absorb Kemba's contract, but give us that draft pick. And then you get that future first, and then you get the cap space for this year. So it was, the whole Durant situation, like it would have been nice to draft him, sure. But if you drafted him, then we probably don't get Jalen Brunson. And then we talk about not having the point guard that we have now. And I'd rather have the position that we have not had sustained for such a long time, which is the point guard position. I'd rather have that taken care of than the center position. Durant looks awesome. I'm not taking that away from him. It's not about Durant's talent at this point. It's literally opening up the cap space to get Jalen Brunson on this team.
LD, go ahead and mute your mic. LD on the Discord, going once.
Yeah, hello.
Yep, how you doing? Good, yep.
What's going on? Good. How everybody doing?
Good, man. Yep.
Awesome. So regarding the Jalen Duran thing, I think it's pretty hilarious in having conversations with my fellow Knicks fans who are upset that we didn't pick him with our draft pick, whatever the case may be. I found out, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people in this comments don't realize this. If y'all pissed about Jalen Duran, the current sitting NBA champions, their second best player, Jamal Murray, is our pick. Like if you go back to the 2016 NBA draft, it's literally via the Knicks. So that's one thing. But I do want to mention something, right? The Knicks have not won in half a century. We have not won a championship since the birth of hip hop, right? Why am I bringing this up? Right. I'm gonna just put this out there, right?
Yeah.
We have not had hip hop know what a Knicks championship is. But in regards to what Scott Perry is saying about why they chose to take the approach they did with the Donovan Mitchell trade, obviously we Knicks fans are impatient because, again, we haven't won anything in half a century. But let's go back to a quarter century. From 2000, teams, basically you can actually go further back. The championships are built through the draft. The only person who has actually won via trading depth and youth is LeBron James. Everybody else, from Kobe to Shaq was a free agent, but Kobe was drafted. The Spurs dynasty through the draft. The Warriors dynasty through the draft. Even Dirk's championship. Dirk is a Maverick, drafted as a Maverick. I think our approach has to be more like the Chauncey Billups Detroit Pistons. Because history has shown that it's not through trading for superstars without having your own superstar in-house. It doesn't win championship if you don't have your own superstars in-house. It's only literally happened with LeBron James. When he goes back to Cleveland, when Kyrie was already drafted by the Cavs, and then they brought what's his name, Kevin Love, or when he got to the Lakers, when they traded the youth for AD. Apart from that, it's all in-house. So our approach has to be more like the Detroit Pistons with Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, just incremental growth, and then you make one final switch for somebody like Rasheed Wallace, who can kind of take you to the next step. And you actually have to focus on playing fundamentally sound basketball to compete against people who have already drafted, superstars.
Okay.
That's kind of why I agree with what Scott Perry was saying.
All right. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call. That's fair. That's where they are right now.
Yeah.
That's the only way they can build this thing. I mean, sure, they can try to go out there and go get a star. Yeah, sure. But as LD said, the other way is through internal development and incremental improvement. I think the one thing that people got to understand also, I mean, there's so many different ways to skin the cat, right? But like the one thing people got to realize with them Pistons teams was like, I mean, name me a guy in that team that didn't play defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big difference, man. Like, again, they played champions, even though they had shooting, they had everything, they had athleticism, they had height, they had everything. They played championship caliber defense because to a man, they all defended. Billups, Wallace, Tayshaun was your wing, right? I mean, they had so many guys. Lindsey Hunter scrapping off the bench. They had so many guys. All these guys. Max Seal off the bench. Like, they had so many people, and they all defended.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what, look, the NBA has changed from when, not saying you don't need a top 10 defense. Like, we know that. You need a top 10 defense in order to win a championship in the NBA. That's still true to this day. But I think the one thing to LD's point, though, is that the way the Knicks are building this team, it has been done before. And so since we don't have that guy who we've drafted, who is like a Giannis, who is like a Dirk or anything like that, like we have to constantly look for that next guy that becomes available that just needs a change of scenery, right? That can fit under what Tom Thibodeau is trying to do. So not against that approach. I think the Knicks are definitely on that approach. I mean, Scott Perry, as LD mentioned, goes in depth on why they chose that approach in Detroit. So, yeah. But I think to your point, CP, it's just going to come down to like one, playing great defense, which this team has. Last season, it was fine to start the season. Hasn't been great. But then the second thing is like, you're going to need to get that star. Like, you're going to need to get somebody in this building, or you better hope for like the best luck throughout the playoffs, like the Toronto Raptors did when they got Kawhi Leonard, right?
Yeah.
You just have, unfortunately, Golden State just deals with a lot of injuries, opening up the door for the Raptors to win it. But the Knicks would also need for some things to go their way throughout the playoff run.
True indeed. All right, JG, back up. Let's go. JG from Brooklyn.
Yo, yeah. Appreciate it, man.
Yes,
appreciate it. Yeah, listen, to not say this starting thing is not a huge blunder is just false. This is going to be right up there with all the other Knicks mistakes, if not even worse.
Why?
This kid, listen, I have League Pass. I've watched all his games so far. I watch everybody. This kid's going to be, I mean, he already is. He's a monster. He's the total package. Listen, my issue with it, too, is, listen, we had to trade Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker to free up cap space to get Brunson. That's why we had to give up that pick.
Yeah.
When we should have never gave Kemba a multi-year contract in the first place. Why did we ever give him 2 years? There was no reason to do that.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so much worse. We should never sign Kemba for 2 years.
Like, who the hell wanted him for 2? It's like, no disrespect, but like, who wanted him that badly?
Yeah.
Who were they bidding against to go get Kemba? No, to go get Kemba.
Oh, right, exactly. Why would you give him 2 years? One, whenever, that's fine. Give him, I don't care how much you give him for 1 year. But when there were already signs that Kemba was, towards the end.
Yeah.
We all knew that. The fact we gave him 2 years and we had to move his contract to get rid of that pick. Listen, Duran is going to be an absolute beast. This kid's 19 years old. He's dominating Bam Adebayo. He's a freak. I'm telling you, man, this is going to be an absolute huge, huge mistake. He should be a Knick. 100%. He should be a Knick. We're going to regret this to the fullest. It's going to be an epic, epic failure. I don't want to hear about Mitch. I'm sorry to the Mitch Hive. He's better in year 2 at 19 than Mitch is in year 6. Way better. Not even close.
Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, I would like to present this call for a vote, man. Rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Let's see what they say.
Is JJ still on the line, or is he off?
No. I clipped him.
JJ in the chat.
He was technically on like 2 calls, so a second call had to be a little bit shorter. I had to run the shot clock on him. It's kind of taking up a lot of.
I just want to know from JJ, like JJ in the chat, where do you see Jalen Duran being in the NBA career? Like, where do you see him being placed? If you had to rank him, is he top 10, top 25, top 50? Like, where do you see him on your NBA ranking once he's in the pinnacle of his career? I want to know that.
Let's see. I see Malik Isaiah. He gives him a 4. KG 5. So Fresh ABM 1. Okay. I'm seeing some 5s in here. Scott Novak, franchise channel member, says he's right. 5. Jay Reed says trash. Okay. I'm seeing a couple. Todd Barbie, like 6 5s. Unlimited. I'm seeing
it. Oh, never mind. I thought someone was putting a phone number.
I thought that. I thought it was like 867-5309. You remember that? So that was before your time too, man. That was a classic joint. That was a classic joint. Yeah. Yep. Shout out Anthony Parrish.
I don't remember Bell Atlantic. Sheesh.
Yeah, that was before your time, man. The Verizon days, man. Speaking of Verizon, 5G,
I remember those days, man. The
5G is trash. We got to do a whole new show on that, man. Wow. 5G was supposed to take us into the future. Yeah, go ahead.
AJ said Jalen Duran will be a top 3 center in the league at the pinnacle of his career.
Wow. Okay.
All right. If you believe that, then I understand it.
Shout out to our franchise channel members in the chat. Reynaldo Maldonado, salute. Scott Novak, Andrew H, JJ, salute. Sim, how you feeling? Jamaica Queen 22 never misses a show. Shout out to Talento, Scott Novak, salute. TM, I am him, salute. Shout out Jalen PM, our guy KnicksFanTV, Jalen, salute. Does a great job for us. Who else? Who else we got in here? Boxing fan, saying I'm
20 years old. Apparently, too, I'm 20 years old.
Boxing fan. How are you? Yeah, look, it's an interesting debate. It's an interesting debate. We went into our takes there, but still curious to see what the people have to say. Leave us a comment in the chat and let us know. VA Nick, go ahead and close this out. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Good. I don't know about that Durant thing. I mean, it's 3 games. Let's pump our brakes a little bit. I mean, I'm no Ninja P or anything, but like, let's calm down. Like, let's serious. Hey, but CP, man, I thought you were gonna mention RJ's nickname. Let's see what happens tomorrow, man. I was waiting for you to pull it out.
Yeah, you missed it. Go back. You got to rewind. I said it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So look, quick question for you, man. Do you think Tuesday's a must win?
Wow. Well, that's a good segue. That's definitely a good segue to get into a look ahead to next week, because next week they have, as you said, Cleveland on Tuesday, and that game is, which one's on the road? Let me check the schedule.
I think it's Tuesday.
Tuesday in Cleveland. Yes. And then Wednesday at the Garden. No, look, I wouldn't necessarily say must win, but obviously you want to at least split the 2 games against the Cavaliers. You want to at least split that. With the Cavaliers, they have Garland, who we'll see if he's going to be healthy. He's nursing a hamstring injury. And you have Jared Allen, who's nursing an injury as well. We'll see if they come back. Cleveland has Max Strus playing well. Donovan Mitchell didn't play in the last game that they played. They played against, I was just watching that today, the Pacers. They lost to the Pacers.
They got smoked.
They got smoked, man. They got smoked. Pacers are looking pretty good. Pretty interesting.
You know what we want to know though, man. We you know, are you going? And if you're going, are you getting some more pizza, man?
I'm done. No, I'm done with Cleveland. I went there. I saw what I had to see. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Shout out to the OG Chuck D. Went there, took a great tour there. Got steeped in nostalgia and history, man. That place, you need multiple days to really see that place. If you're
no doubt. Cleveland.
No, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You need multiple days to really dig into that. But I saw that. I'm good.
You don't want another waffle?
No, you could go send me a postcard. Send me a postcard, man.
But no, man, real talk. I just feel like I feel like we're getting like we're being prisoners of the moment, man. Yeah, homeboy's putting up numbers, man. But like, let's calm down. Like Alex said earlier, had we not made the moves, we wouldn't have got, JB. And let's be real fair. Like the Knicks have made some atrocious decisions. This one, I don't know if this is even top 10. I mean, dude's 2 years in,
Yeah, got you. Okay, appreciate the call, man. Good to hear from you, man.
All right, man. Later.
All right. Is it must win? No, I can't call Game 5 a must. Game 4 a must win of an 82-game season. You know what I mean? We're talking about 1/20th of the year. Like, I can't call it a must win, but you want to see signs. You want to see your two stars get back on track. This is a team in Cleveland that you want to start thinking about tiebreakers. That you want to start thinking about, right? You want to start thinking about that as you think about play-in. You think about seeding potentially down the road if you're fortunate enough to make the playoffs. So you want to get out early and knock this team off, especially if they're still going to be down their two starters, which they could be. But I do like that Strus addition for them, man. It just gives them, obviously, the three-point shooting, gives them a guy that they can run plays for, another guy that you have to look out for, a guy that can initiate the break. He's got some handles, some passing ability. Strus is looking good. And then, obviously, they got LeVert, who is never seen a shot that he hasn't liked. So it's going to be tough. You hope to split that. And then you have Dame time. Giannis time in Milwaukee. The first game of the in-season tournament. Pool play. So this is an important week. This is a measuring stick week. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Is it must win? Not necessarily, but go ahead, Al.
I said that on yesterday's post game. This is a very important, it's a very big week, man. Well, first 10 games, challenging.
Yeah.
You're seeing the Cavs. They are looking to punch back after they got embarrassed in the playoffs last year. So can you be on your A game, ready for that matchup, back to back? Look, they're not getting any breaks. This is gonna be the second back to back of the season, and we're talking about the fourth and fifth game of the regular season right now. Then you got the Milwaukee Bucks, the new look Milwaukee Bucks. Mm-hmm. First game, as you mentioned, for the in-season tournament. But even still, like if you want to see how good you are in this league, the Milwaukee Bucks are a great measuring stick.
Yeah.
For to see where you're at, right? It's between them and the Celtics. So can the Knicks go out there and compete with the Bucks? And that will be a test to see what else they need to add to this team and where they stand in the rest of the league.
There you go, bro. So with that being said, predictions.
I'm going 2-1, CP.
Oh, okay. All right. How do you get that? How do you arrive?
We're sweeping the Cavs, baby. We're sweeping the Cavs.
Okay. All right.
All right. Bucks. It's Dame time.
Yeah.
Giannis. That's gonna be a little challenging.
Okay.
But we're sweeping the Cavs.
Okay. I'll go 1-2. I think we take 1 out of 2 in the home and home, and fall to. I never liked the matchup with the Bucks. I think Dame time makes it even tougher. And I think we fall, and I don't like how we play in Milwaukee. Who knows? The last time they even won there, I'm trying to remember. When Milwaukee is full stacked, fully healthy, not so sure. Well, let's take a look. See, you got all these stats websites that'll tell you. So let's see. Knicks versus Bucks, 2023. Let's see. When was the last time we won in Milwaukee?
Was it Kevin Knox?
Oh, is it Kevin? Let's see. Last time. Now this is Milwaukee Bucks versus Knicks. Last time was in 2021. Oh. Knicks won 113-98.
Okay.
November 5th, 2021. Last time the Knicks won in Milwaukee. Let's see who was on the team. You had RJ with a 20-piece, Julius 32-12, Evan Fournier with 7-2, Mitch Ford 6, Kemba with 5-1, but it was the bench mob, man. D Rose 23-8. Nerlens Wall, remember Nerlens Noel? Does he still play basketball?
No hands, Noel.
No hands, Noel. The walking infirmary, 6-13 for the Nerlens Wall, and 4 steals. I remember that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yep,
Quickly 9-2. Obi 6-2. Alec Burks. He was on the team. Jericho Sims, Knox, Quentin Grimes. Got a minute in that game. Miles McBride, DMP. So that was the last time they won in Milwaukee.
Look at that.
There, look at that.
So it's doable, CP, is what you're telling me. We've won with Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. It's doable.
There you go. There you go, man. Now, let's see. Yeah, Giannis played. Grayson Allen played. Okay, well, there it is. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday did not play in that game. So,
I was like, wait a minute.
That's why I said at full strength. At full strength. So, there that is, man. So, to Rhyme Animal Chuck D, man. Wait, did I give my prediction? I'm saying 1-2. I'm going 1-2. Yeah, 1-2. So, to Rhyme Animal Chuck D, man. $50 super chat says, Tibbs is clear. Superstar or not, no defense will have you benched. He tried the other style last year when we were giving up 125 points. Kemba Evan couldn't grind in that system. Post All-Star game, Tibbs' style got win streaks versus the Tankers with that defense. With defense, yep, absolutely. Absolutely, man. So shout out to the Rhyme Animal Chuck D. We got a Jets troll in here.
Ooh, who is it? Who is it?
You like this guy a lot. This is your guy.
Who is it, CP?
This is your people's. Shout out to my guy Andrew Claudio of the Knicks Film School Podcast. $10 super chat. First comment says, "Sup, fellas? Missed the beginning of the show, but in solidarity with Alex, of course."
There we go.
The number one Giants hater in the building. Okay, here he goes again. He goes, "Must win talk after 3 games. That's as crazy as allowing Zach Wilson to go 50 yards in 23 seconds with no timeouts." 0. What a defense, man. What a defense, man. He goes, then he goes, okay, series thought Jalen Duran is legit good. Had a block shot that went so far wide left. I thought Graham Gano kicked it. And that's how you know you're really down bad. When Graham Gano, our best player the entire season, is now shanking kicks. Supposedly he's hurt. He's kicking hurt. So he's trying to like flu game this thing, but it's not working. He needs to sit his ass down. He's got to sit down.
Didn't help you today. Help you today.
He's got to sit down, man. See who else is out there. I don't know. Randy Bullock. I don't know. Martin Grammatica or something. Cole Grammatica. See what he's doing. I don't know, man.
Well, shout out to Andrew Claudio. Shout out to Young Kobe. Shout out to Lash. Shout out to JD. Shout out to all of Jets Nation in the chat today, guys. We won. We got it. We got the victory parade. We've defeated the Giants 3 times in a row. We're on a 3-game winning streak against the Giants, baby, since 2015. Since 2015. This feels great. Feels great. Andrew knows what I'm talking about. Andrew probably deals with all the Giants fans out there like, oh, Jets, oh, they suck. Da, 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 da. Feels good, man. Feels good.
Anyway, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute our sponsors, man. Manscaped.com.
Can't rain on this parade.
Promo code KFTV. I'm putting this guy on mute. Promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Remember that the show is available in audio podcast format. All the major podcast platforms. And yeah, tap in, man. We'll see you guys. Oh, we got a big guest this week, man. So look out for some content coming out this week. All I'll say is that he's a former Knick. That's the only hint that you'll get. And also NBA Report back at it tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, youtube.com/at the NBA Report. So make sure you tap in. Big show, man. Al, who the Jets got next week?
Oh, you muted me, so I had to unmute myself so that way I could speak.
Wait. This is how is that when I'm in charge? How does that work?
What do you mean? What do you mean? How does that work? You muted me.
I thought the host. When you mute guests, how does the guest have the chance to unmute themselves?
Well, look, sir. This is KFTV. I am the co-host on this show, so it's like I have the capability.
All right, now he doesn't. Now I found it. There we go. All right, man. I'll holler at you tomorrow, man. Good show, bro.
All right, bro. Good stuff.
Good show, everybody. Peace. Good show, all the mods. We out of here. Peace.